Emulation versus actual retro gameplay. The age-old question, which is better?
It's on everyone's mind.
Everybody wants to know, and we're going to give you the definitive answer today.
I'm probably going to cut it before we reach that point. That's Tyler.
And that's Joseph.
And this is Super Squad D.
Where the D stands for downloadable.
That's my download hand gesture.
I liked it.
That is. So the question that does come up a lot in the video gaming community is, when it comes to old games, is it better to just download the ROMs and play them on an emulator, or should you go cartridge hunting? Clearly there are benefits to both sides. The Raspberry Pi is not only more accessible as a tiny computer, but it also kind of bridges the gap between the two sides of the debate, in that you can make it a quasi-console.
But we are of the same opinion that there's just something extra special about playing a game on a retro console.
It's the way God intended.
I don't know if I go that far.
Well, the way I like to think of it is this. It's the same sort of comparison that you get between people that are really into good coffee and good coffee brewing techniques, or people like me who are big-time vinyl collectors. See, for us as a group, there's something really special about the process. Sure, if I wanted coffee and I didn't care, I could get a Keurig, I could pop a K-cup in there, and I could brew coffee instantly. I only drink coffee to stay regular. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of times in which I drink a K-cup. I've got a Spotify subscription. When I want to listen to music right then and there, I'll listen to music right then and there. But when I want to stop and embrace the entire process of experiencing a fine cup of coffee or experiencing good music, I'm going to grind the coffee myself. I'm going to put on a vinyl record.
But I do agree that there is something special about the process. And for someone who likes to collect things like me, collecting retro video games is awesome, because not only do I get to collect something like these fine games,
oh, they're gorgeous,
I also get to play. So it's the best of both worlds. I think there's definitely a place for people who like to just emulate. That's totally fine. I think that's a great option, because a lot of people don't have the means or the resources, because let's be honest, collecting retro games can get expensive. You're looking at a one-time fee for a Raspberry Pi versus a lot of dollars tracking down games that are old and vintage and
rare.
Quality and rare. That's
yeah,
right.
Exactly. And you got to make sure that you're getting the real thing.
That's
that
right.
It works, that it's in good condition. Ugh.
That's right. It can be expensive. So I like the accessibility that the Raspberry Pi offers. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's brought a resurgence for people who just want that nostalgia feel that they had as a kid. I think that's fantastic. But for me, I think there's something special about playing a game on the system that it was originally intended to be played. If you know anything about the Raspberry Pi and emulation, you know that there are some games still that just don't work well. Once you get beyond that 16-bit into the 3D realm, a lot of games struggle to perform.
I used to always have trouble trying to find a good Space Station Silicon Valley emulator. That's my favorite Nintendo 64 game, and I remember in college always having issues. Emulators have come a long way since I was in college because I'm old.
Yeah.
But still, you sometimes run into problems.
On top of that, playing a game on the hardware it was originally intended to be played on is really the smoothest possible play. Now, certainly there are great controllers out there for the Raspberry Pi that you can get for that or your home computer, but playing a game on the Super Nintendo with the actual Super Nintendo controller, it just is as responsive as it should be, and it just feels great. Even systems like the Nintendo 64, whose controller is widely regarded as one of the worst controllers of all time, feels great in your hand when you're playing a game on the system that it was intended to be played on.
Little editing thing, you just accidentally said that was regarded as one of the worst controllers of all time instead of best. You meant to say best.
Oh, did I?
You meant to say most perfect creations on all of the face of the earth, and you accidentally said one of the worst.
I don't think that was an accident.
It was a mistake. It was an obvious mistake.
Okay, sure.
So clearly there are benefits to either method.
Yep.
Neither one is inherently better than the other. And while emulation can be a lot more cost efficient, it can be a lot faster, you lose a little bit of something, at least in our opinion, when you choose to not play it on the original system.
So if you're trying to decide, should you emulate or should you go retro, I would say if you own a retro console, maybe pick up a game or two and see how you like it. And if you don't, Give the Raspberry Pi a purchase, play some emulated games, and have a lot of nostalgic fun.
But if you're like me and you're in the midst of an existential crisis and just want to reconnect to a simpler, more innocent time, like your childhood, go retro.
If you made it to this point in the video and you've liked what you've seen, hit that like button and maybe hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more content. This has been Super Squad D, where the D stands for Download.
Downloadable. What's that?
Downloadable?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. That was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, who can remember that?